Welcome to Introduction to Microcomputers, CIS 101. I'm Mitch Davis. I'll be your professor for this course. This course introduces the student to the microcomputer. We study its history, its composition, the software that we run on it, the tools that we use on the internet, along with a number of the most common applications in use today on a microcomputer. Applications like word processing, spreadsheets, presentation graphics, and so on. The textbook for this course is a custom designed textbook for the University of Mobile. Because of that, it is not one that the student can buy on the internet, but has to buy it through the university bookstore. We did use this same book in the last year, and therefore there are some used copies available. But in addition to the textbook, we also use the publisher's website for many of the exercises that we'll do during the course of the term. And in order to use the publisher's website, the student must have an access code that comes with the book when the student buys a new textbook. This access card is only good for one student and one semester. So if you buy a used book, you're going to have to buy an access card separately. And as you might expect, the publisher's done a good job of planning this because the textbook with the access card is not much more expensive than the access card by itself. Now, what we'll be doing in class is spending our time on the computer completing these exercises in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. In order to do that, we will be using a lab in the Center for Academic Technology. That's where our class will meet. And in order to get onto the network, the student must have a user ID and a password for access. The user ID is the student's student ID number. The password is a unique password that you should be able to acquire by contacting the university. Each day, at the beginning of class, we will immediately open up our web browser, like the one you see here, and log into MyUM. MyUM is one of the websites for use by students at the University of Mobile. And on MyUM, you have a user ID, which is generally your student ID number. You input your username and then your password that is unique to yourself. And if you don't know your MyUM password, you'll need to contact the registrar's office to make sure you have it before class, because we will start in MyUM the very first class, and we will be using it every single day. Now, once we're in MyUM, this is the welcome page to MyUM. We go down here to My Courses, scroll until we find our website, our course, CIS 101. We select it, and that takes us to our class website. Now, on our class website, this is CIS 101 Microcomputer Applications, and this is the welcome page. Here you see a MyIT-Lab course ID for this class. Now, MyIT-Lab is the publisher's website that I was telling you about earlier. And when you go to enroll in MyIT-Lab, it will ask you what class you want to be in, and this is the identifier that it's looking for. Now, once we have gone to our main class website, the first thing I'll do is check attendance. And then I'll go to our coursework section where we have all of our assignments for the semester, and I'll find the one that we're going to be working on now. And I'll select it and open it up so that at the end of class you'll be able to upload the results of your effort. After I've opened that up, we will then go to a subsection that's on the left-hand side of the screen that says Daily Participation. And daily participation is what we will be doing every day of class. This is the sequence of activities that we will do during the term. We'll spend some time in Windows 8, we'll spend some time in Microsoft Word, Excel, and then PowerPoint. Each one has its own page. For example, we'll click on Microsoft Word, assuming that was what we were doing today. We would find the assignment, and this is an assignment that is in your textbook. We will find the assignment that we're going to work on today. Let's say this 4A customer handout, and select it. Now that takes us to a page that shows us the assignment. This, by the way, is actually the introductory page for this assignment in your textbook. It tells us what we're going to be doing in this assignment. It tells us what we're going to name our file when we get finished. And by the way, we do have a naming convention for everything that we turn in. It's the last name, underscore first name, underscore the title of the assignment. And if there is any kind of file that we need to download in order to complete this, that file will be right here waiting for us. And so we would simply click on it and download it to our computer so that we could work on it for the rest of the day. Once we have finished this, we will exit MyUM, go into the application that we're going to use, and then we will complete the assignment. Once we've completed the assignment, we'll come back here to our course website. You will go to coursework, find the assignment, and on it there is a place for you to upload the work that you've just done. And that's how you get credit for your daily participation in this class. Now let's talk for a minute about MyITLab. I'm going to open up another tab up here and tell it to take me to MyITLab. And I'm going to sign in to MyITLab. We're using Microsoft Office 13, so I have to select that. I put in my user ID on MyITLab and my password that I set up when I enrolled in the publisher's website. And you'll have the same kind of a thing. Now your screen won't look exactly like mine. Mine has all the courses that I have on MyITLab, but you'll have one that looks like this one right here. And so you would select that. And from here on, our screens are going to look a little different. But you'll go to Course Materials. When you get there, you'll see a list of the various projects that we have to do on MyITLab. Once we get into the various applications, though, there are 3 separate assignments for each one of those applications. If you come to class, don't miss class, then when you get home, there will be a homework assignment for you on that same chapter that we covered in class. And you will complete that homework assignment on MyITLab. Now it's going to be the same kind of assignment that we actually did in class. So you should already be familiar with the techniques for accomplishing the tasks that we do on homework. And the difference is that when I look at your homework assignment, I look to see if it looks like what we did in class, and that's about the size of it, and you get 100% credit. On homework, MyITLab takes it seriously. So it grades every little keystroke, every little thing that you do, and so it's a lot more difficult to try to make 100 on the homework than it is on the classwork in class. However, because it's a little bit more difficult, I give you up to 3 different attempts at getting it right. Now, in addition to that, if you do miss class, you cannot do the work that we did in class for credit. So if you want credit for attending class, even though you didn't, you can get that credit by going down here and doing this Grader Project Makeup. And if you'll do the Grader Project Makeup, which is another assignment like the one we've done in class and also like that homework assignment, you can get credit. You will receive credit for attending class. That will be the equivalent of attending class. I would not recommend anybody take that approach because it's going to be much more difficult to make a good grade, and also if you miss the class, you don't have the advantage of hearing about the topics from me during class, and so you have to figure it out on your own. So it's much more difficult to do that. But the point is, if you do miss class, you're not going to get a 0 for that effort necessarily if you'll simply go out and do the makeup work. And then at the end of each one of these chapters, there is an end of chapter quiz. And you would find one of these things for every assignment that we do in class. And that's MyITLab. I'm going to sign out, close this thing, go back to our website. and then I'm going to exit that. All right, this was just a little preliminary introduction to my TLAB and to our course. I want to welcome you to our course, and I'm looking forward to meeting you on our first day of class. This is a good course. I will guarantee you that you will learn something. I have been using the Microsoft products for close to 30 years, and I learn something new almost every time we have one of these classes, I can assure you. So you will learn something here. I do want to caution you. There is a lot of work to do, and it's not the kind of class that you can procrastinate in. You have to stay on top of things and stay current with it. And I want to assure you that you can successfully complete this course and earn a good grade if you simply do the work. If you simply come to class, make the effort, do the homework, there is no reason why you can't make a very good grade. Looking forward to seeing you, and I'll see you on our first class.